A very unique exhibit is on display here on the 6th floor at Central Library in the Nina Mason Pulliam Indianapolis Special Collections Room. It relates to our city's culinary past, and it's entitled Indy Eats. Adam Todd is a team member with the Special Collections Room, and we welcome you to the program.
Thanks,
Tell us what this exhibit is all about.
Well, it's all about the history of food in Indianapolis. We have old menus, cookbooks, information on food products that were originated or produced here in Indianapolis. So it's a lot about, like you said, the culinary history of Indianapolis.
How far back do some of these items go?
Well, a lot of our materials date back far beyond, before Indianapolis. We have a cookbook here, for example, from one of our collections from 1542.
My goodness.
Yeah, and it's in Latin, and it's an older cookbook. And we have things like that on display, as well as, more recent items.
That purely relate to Indianapolis and our own history.
Exactly.
Now, how did the library obtain these items?
Well, we have two main collections of the Wright Marble cookbook collections. The first one, he was a steward for a number of historic places in town, the Bates House, the Denison Hotel, places like that. And at some point, he began collecting cookbooks, and he amassed a collection that was considered at the time to be the best in the United States.
Wow.
He had about 350 volumes, modern and ancient works on various languages. He died in 1923, somewhat suddenly, and after that, shortly after that, unfortunately, his house, there was a house fire, and a lot of his collection was destroyed. What was left of it, the majority of it was donated to the library, and that was the basis of our cookbook collection that we've been continuing to have from then on. Our menu collection is the Arthur Rumpf collection, and he's a man who was born in Pigeon, Indiana originally, spent most of his life around Milwaukee and other places in the Midwest as a wholesale grocer. In 1919, he began just a personal collection of menus and wine cards, and over the course of his life, he ended up donating these to over 30,000 menus to different libraries across the country, public libraries, and we were fortunate to be one of the receiving libraries, and that's our menu collection started there, and those menus are from all over the world, ships and trains and different things like that, and also local Indianapolis menus from old restaurants. Yes.
Again, the exhibit is entitled Indy Eats. It's on display here in the Indianapolis Special Collections Room on the 6th floor of Central Library. Adam, perhaps it would be interesting if we could judge how tastes have changed over, say, the past century and really learn perhaps what was more popular back then compared to today.
Yeah, it's hard to judge, to make broad statements about the trends, but I think more than anything, sometimes you'll look at some of the old recipes and think that you would never eat something like that, whether it's the type of meat or the combination of spices and things like that. I would say that by today's standards it would seem sort of unappealing. So in that sense, you can sort of see how things have changed. And in other ways, they've sort of stayed the same, so it's kind of interesting to look at.
Some other items that are part of the exhibit relate to food products that have Indianapolis ties. What are some of those items?
A couple of them of note. Wonder Bread's a product that originated here in Indianapolis with Taggart Bakery. There's a man named Elmer Klein who's the vice president of Taggart Bakery, and in 1921 he attended a hot air balloon race at the Indianapolis Speedway, and he described his feeling when he saw the balloons as awe and wonderment. And then he came back and came up with the idea of Wonder Bread, and also the logo, which, if you think about it, the colored balls kind of looks like, you could sort of imagine that sort of being inspired by hot air balloons and things like that.
So that was the origin of Wonder Bread.
That was the origin of Wonder Bread, yes. And another product is Gatorade, which most people know originated at the University of Florida by researchers there to help the football team practicing in high heat. But Stokely Van Camp ended up purchasing the rights to produce it and then began producing it here, and that's where its origin is as a national product.
Well, the whole exhibit appears very fascinating. It's on display here in the Nina Mason Pulliam Indianapolis Special Collections Room during regular hours of Central Library.
That's right.
Correct?
We'll be running from about January through June.
And if you would, if people would like to maybe donate items to the
Oh,
ISCR.
absolutely. We're always looking for new cookbooks, old and new, relating to Indianapolis, and any kind of menus you might have. Please contact us. We'll be happy to accept any donations.
Very good. Adam Todd with the Indianapolis Special Collections Room. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
please visit, beginning in January, the Indy Eats collection here on the 6th floor.